MAGA Mike Johnson is in panic mode right now. He is dripping with fear as Americans are demanding answers on the Epstein files, and as it is so obvious that Donald Trump is trying to cover up his dastardly connections with Epstein. Let me show you what just went down moments ago. So after shutting down Congress and sending it into recess so that no votes can be taken on the release of the Epstein files, you have MAGA Mike Johnson hold a press conference right outside of the House of Representatives, and he goes, "I don't fear anything. I'm not scared about anything." Here, play this clip.
Is there concern? I mean, obviously we've seen conservatives shut down the House floor routinely. You saw that you had to pull the rule because of fear of Epstein votes.
No, we don't have any fear. No, hold on. No, Reese, no. There's no fear here. No, there's no fear. There's no fear. We're not going to allow the Democrats to use this as a political cudgel. Remember, they had 4 years. Hold on. The Biden administration held the Epstein files for 4 years. Not a single one of these Democrats or anyone in Congress made any peep about that at all. They could have brought a discharge petition at any point in the last 4 years. They chose not to. They waited until President Trump was elected. I think that's very suspect. And I will not allow the House to be drug into political gamesmanship. Not going to do it.
Now, in a moment, I'm going to show you what MAGA Mike Johnson did after this press conference. He spoke at an event for CPAC that dealt with sex trafficking and human trafficking and presented himself as like the expert. Like, I am the person who is hereby stopping the scourge of human trafficking and sex trafficking. I hold the moral authority. I'll go show you that in a moment. But here, MAGA Mike Johnson says that he's been coordinating his plans with Donald Trump privately. He says it in his own words. Here, play this clip.
Right now, when I say there's no daylight between me and the president, we talk about this privately. He's spoken about it publicly. I have as well. He's trying to achieve the same exact objective that we are, that every member of the House Republican Conference wants to achieve, and that is to let the American people decide.
Now, a reporter asks MAGA Mike Johnson if there were promises Republicans made on Epstein, why is there no sense of urgency? Just hold the vote. Right now, MAGA Mike, why are you going into recess? And MAGA Mike goes, there's no point in doing that right now. Donald Trump and the DOJ are already focused on that. Here, play this clip.
I will not allow the House to be drug into political gamesmanship. Not going to do it.
Promises that Republicans made to voters over Jeffrey Epstein. Why not more of a sense of urgency? Why not just hold a vote today?
There's no point in having a vote today because the administration is already doing everything within their power to release them. They've gone to the grand jury. They've requested the courts to unseal the documents so that they can be released. The president himself has said all credible evidence should be put out to the American people while protecting the innocent. That's where we stand as well. There's no point in passing a resolution to urge the administration to do something that they are already doing. And so that's why we're going to let that process play out. This is not out of fear in any way. What we're trying to do is maximize transparency and stand for the truth. Let me say this, very important. We want every single person who is involved in any way in the Epstein evils to be brought to swift justice. We want the full weight of the law to fall upon their head. And I will do everything within my power to make sure that is possible. That process is underway right now, and we'll see how it plays out.
Now, I'm going to do another video on that. So a district court in the Southern District of Florida has rejected the Trump administration's request to release certain grand jury testimony regarding Jeffrey Epstein. And I told you the federal court was going to do that under Rule 6E of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure. A district court is not authorized to release grand jury testimony. There's something called grand jury secrecy. In fact, in the motion to release the grand jury testimony, which by the way is only a small fraction of the Epstein files, it's like 1%, and is not going to have the relevant stuff. The FBI and the DOJ have the 300 gigabytes of all the relevant stuff that people actually want to see. But in the motion to unseal, Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice literally wrote that the federal courts could not release the documents under the grand jury testimony, that is, under Rule 6E. They said it in the motion. So the judge said, I'll do a whole video on this. The judge said, as conceded by the government, we're not allowed to release this under 11th Circuit Court of Appeals precedent. So then MAGA Mike Johnson, as I mentioned, he goes to an event, literally, I can't make this stuff up, on sex trafficking and human trafficking, because this is worse than 1984. Up is down, left is right, war is peace. And he just goes, there's arguably nothing more important that we are fighting for in the Republican Party than to stop human trafficking. Sickos. Here, play this clip.
To be the guy that carries all the briefcases around, and now I have one of my own. So grateful to be with you. I just wanted to come by for a very brief moment. This is a busy day on Capitol Hill. We got a lot going on, but there's arguably nothing more important than what you are involved in here today. It is an unspeakable evil that we face with human trafficking, the scourge that it has been, the absolute human catastrophe that has developed and had developed over the previous 4 years in the last administration, with a wide open border and countless numbers of people falling victim to this atrocious evil. So what we did in the big beautiful bill is not just reduce taxes, not just cut spending, not just restore American energy dominance and restore us to peace through strength and common sense and strengthen safety net programs and all the rest. But arguably one of the most important things that we've done in our lifetimes is ensure that the border is secure once again. And we got that done. Yes.
And here he is again talking about the scourge of people who are victims of human trafficking. You're aiding and abetting it right now, MAGA Mike Johnson. Here, play this clip.
4 years, but there's none more important than this. And by that historic investment in border security, historic investment in our domestic security, we can do right by victims. And now there's a lot of work to do because we have to stop the scourge and then we have to serve those who have been victims of it. And I know you're doing such important work in that space. And I just wanted to come by and give my full endorsement to this effort, to pledge my support to you in any way that I can, to CPAC and Matt and Mercedes and the whole team. We're doing extraordinary work. Thanks for leading on this in a historic moment. Thank you for the time that you're investing. It's an important principle of Scripture that we defend the defenseless. And you're doing that. God knows it. I know it. The House Republicans know it. And we thank you for it. Thanks so much.
So there's a parallel plan taking place. And you could break down exactly what the Trump regime is doing, right? They've ordered MAGA Mike Johnson to stop the House of Representatives from doing further business, right? Shut it down. At the same time, you have the Department of Justice heads, Pam Bondi, and the number 2, Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General. They are saying they're going to meet directly with Ghislaine Maxwell. Why? They're going to try to get a statement from her that tries to be favorable to Donald Trump, likely in return to reduce her sentence, give her a commutation or a pardon down the line. And while that delay is going on, they then did this, we're going to try to get the grand jury testimony, knowing that they can never get the grand jury testimony, trying to distract us from the fact that they have the files. The DOJ and FBI has the Epstein files. They could release it, 300 gigabytes, based on the search warrants executed of Epstein and Ghislaine and their homes and their phones and their electronic devices and their computers. And then, this is Trumpism 101, then go on the offensive and attack Obama. Say Obama was involved in the biggest scandal and threaten a criminal prosecution against Obama. So while MAGA Mike was holding that press conference, you had the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, standing with Donald Trump's chief propagandist, Caroline Leavitt, and they were talking about criminally prosecuting former President Obama for treason and going after him and saying the Department of Justice needs to arrest Obama, that Obama engaged, they say, in a hoax that tied Donald Trump to Russia in 2016, and that all of these secrets are coming out, and this is the scandal you need to focus on. This is how disgusting and vile and pathetic and desperate the Trump regime is to hide Epstein. This is what they're doing. So let me show you. You have Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, she was asked to respond to Obama's remarks about, what are you even talking about? What the hell is going on here? Marco Rubio, Donald Trump's Secretary of State, said that there was Russian interference in the 2016 election, that it didn't change and they weren't able to hack and change any votes, but that Russia was involved. There's a bipartisan Senate report. Here's what Tulsi Gabbard says. Let's play it.
I think it's a disservice to the American people that former President Obama's office and others who are criticizing the transparency that is being delivered by releasing these documents. They are doing a disservice to the American people and trying to deflect away from their culpability in what is a historic scandal and negative action towards the American people and our democratic republic. The answer to that statement can very clearly be found throughout all of the documents that we have released. Again, showing that Russia has took action to try to sow discord in the election, but showed no preference for or against any singular candidate.
The weather is heating up and your nighttime bedroom temperature has a huge impact on your sleep quality. If you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend that you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Miracle Made sheets are inspired by NASA and use silver-infused fabrics that are temperature regulating, so you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. Now, using those silver-infused fabrics inspired by NASA, Miracle Made sheets are thermoregulating and designed to keep you at the perfect temperature all night long, no matter the weather, so you get better sleep every night. These sheets are infused with silver that prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. No more gross odors. Miracle Made sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands and feel as nice, if not nicer, than the sheets used by some 5-star hotels. Stop sleeping on bacteria. Bacteria can clog your pores, causing breakouts and acne. Sleep clean with Miracle. Upgrade your sleep as the weather heats up. Go to trymiracle.com/Meidas to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code Meidas at checkout, you'll get free 3-piece towel set and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/Meidas and use the code Meidas to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Meidas to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode.
And then Tulsi Gabbard and Caroline Leavitt suggest that Obama needs to be criminally prosecuted and that he should not get immunity. Here, play this clip.
Maybe either for you or Caroline. The president said yesterday that Obama committed treason. Do you or the White House believe that the Supreme Court's immunity decision protects Obama from prosecution?
Look, I can speak to the president's feelings on this matter. He spoke to all of you yesterday in the Oval Office, but I also spoke to him about this morning. And he wants to see all those who perpetuated this fraud against our country, who betrayed our country and the Constitution, to be thoroughly investigated and held accountable. And it's been 10 years of this. And I would just add, based on everything the director has said and declassified, all of you in this room should go through it and take a look at this report and review the intelligence, because unfortunately that hasn't happened. And many of the people who perpetuated this hoax, Clapper, Andy McCabe, James Comey, and many others, have been hired by major networks in this room to go on television and continue to spew these lies, knowing that they are lies. And
then Caroline Leavitt starts yelling at the press and saying it's not journalism to propagate political disinformation. Here, play this clip.
It is not journalism to propagate political disinformation in service of the Democrat Party and those in the intelligence community who hand over out of context and fake intelligence to push a false political narrative. I will now pass it over to the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, to speak more about all of this, and then we will open it.
So a reporter then asks Tulsi Gabbard, well, what about the Senate bipartisan committee from a long time ago that the Senate Intelligence Committee agreed in a bipartisan fashion that Russia was involved, and this was already reported on, that it didn't change a vote, but that Russia interfered. And then Tulsi Gabbard's like, oh, that's just the Senate Intelligence Committee. I'm the director of national intelligence. I know what's really going on. Here, play this clip.
The Senate Intelligence Committee spent several years looking into this and unanimously agreed in a bipartisan fashion, Secretary of State Rubio was a member of that committee, that there was no political interference. There was a years-long Justice Department investigation into this as well that also concluded no political interference. So help us, from a 50,000-foot level, explain, what do you now have that refutes those two?
Sure. I will encourage you, in my role as the Director of National Intelligence, my job, again, as I said when I came into this role, was to make sure that we are telling the truth to the American people, and that we are ensuring that the intelligence community is not being politicized. So I'm not asking you to take my word for it. I'm asking you in the media to conduct honest journalism, and the American people to see for yourself in the documents that we've released now, close to 200 pages, that point in multiple references, multiple examples, to include comments that have been made by senior intelligence professionals, who are some still working within these agencies today, that confirm the conclusions that we have drawn, that President Obama directed an intelligence community assessment to be created to further this contrived false narrative that ultimately led to a years-long coup to try to undermine President Trump's presidency.
And it's your belief that those two previous investigations missed that or covered it up?
I'm telling you to look at the evidence. Look at the evidence and you will know the truth.
And then Tulsi Gabbard is asked, well, the statute of limitations on conspiracy has expired. So what other than treason are you going to try to charge Obama with? And she goes, well, that's a great question for Attorney General Pam Bondi. Here, play this clip.
And then just quickly, I know you said you would leave the charging to DOJ, but the statute of limitations on conspiracy is 5 years. So what else could they possibly pursue besides treason?
I think that's a great question for Attorney General Pam Bondi. We're providing all of the evidence, all of the intelligence that we have, both redacted and unredacted versions, referring it to the Department of Justice and the FBI.
And then finally, Caroline Leavitt is asked, well, Obama couldn't be charged based on immunity. And then she goes, I'll leave that to the DOJ. Watch what Caroline Leavitt says.
Appropriate idea. Kelly.
What is the accountability that you would like to see if the current president is the one who brought the case to the Supreme Court and Chief Justice Roberts made clear in his opinion that a sitting president's responsibilities in office cannot lead to prosecution, immunity? So what is it the President Trump wants regarding President Obama, given that fact? And the special counsel at the time, Durham, when that Supreme Court matter was not in effect, could have charged anyone and did not. So on those 2 points, how do you respond?
Look, the president has made it clear that he wanted these documents to be declassified. He wanted the American people to see the truth, and now he wants those who perpetuated these lies and this scandal to be held accountable. As for what accountability looks like, as the director said, it's in the Department of Justice's hands, and we trust them to move this ball forward.
You would agree President Obama cannot be charged based on that immunity.
Again, I'll leave that to the Department of Justice. Stephanie.
So, folks, do you see the anatomy of the Epstein cover-up right here? First, you have MAGA Mike Johnson. Then he goes and speaks at a human trafficking event to act like he's defending it, or he's supporting, strict enforcements against human trafficking while aiding and abetting human trafficking. Then you have the DOJ, weaponized by Donald Trump, threatening to arrest Obama. And then you have the DOJ working behind the scenes to try to silence Ghislaine Maxwell, who says her life is threatened. Tie it all together, folks. It's right there for us to see. That's why I'm showing you clips, receipts, so you can see the cover up for yourself. Donald Trump is terrified based on his connections to Jeffrey Epstein and based on the fact that Mar-a-Lago was used to fine girls to sex traffic. Like Virginia Giuffre's an example of that. When that Epstein and Trump would hold parties with just them and 30 girls at Mar-a-Lago. It's all out there. Wait, hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. Thanks for watching.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.